Thanks everybody for joining us today to this presentation, which is about good laboratory practices, and the seminar should give you a good understanding of what are the FDA requirements, international requirements of the GLP regulation, and the requirements and strategies for implementation. That's equally important. And the presentation should serve two purposes. First, to give you a good understanding of the regulation and strategies, but second, to give you more help, and even more importantly, to make you familiar with some reference material that should help you to easily implement what you have learned today. So the only purpose of this slide, because you already know the title and the subtitle and my name, the only purpose is to introduce you to my email address. Because we have a Q&A session, you can ask questions at the end, you can ask questions in the chat box all the time. But nevertheless, sometimes the question comes later on when you start working on it, or when you would like to talk about this, what you have learned today, to your colleagues. And if any question comes up, let's say in the next 2 or 3 weeks, it's no problem at all. You can either send the question to C Trainings, Compliance Trainings, or if it's a technical question, you also can send it right away to me. So here is my email address, ludwig_huber@labcompliance.com. Now I would like to introduce you to today's agenda, or what we want to talk about today here. And I will talk about the FDA and international regulations and guidance documents, and I think this will take quite some time. Then I will continue with talking about the scope, the definition and objective of GLP. Then I will talk about the responsibilities of personnel, the management, the study director, the quality assurance unit, and of course equipment is important because equipment is always being used for GLP studies. SOPs is important because the GLP regulation, they list a couple, I think 15 to 20 standard operating procedures which must be available for inspection, so this is quite important. Then we talk about the preparation, the conduct, and the protocol, the report of a GLP study, and the study director. I talk about the records acquisition, handling, record retention, which is very important. And of course, here also we bring in a talk and discuss a little bit the definition and the handling of raw data, especially for hybrid systems, which means the records may be generated by the computer first, and then later on printed out, and then we have the records on paper. And then the question is, okay, what are the raw data? That's a very important question. Preparation for inspections, we also will talk about it because FDA will come in and look if you did meet all the requirements which have been listed out as a GLP requirement. They also will be looking at audit documents. So that is the reason why we also talk a little bit about internal audit. And at the end, I will have a couple, maybe 5 or 6 slides, maybe a little bit more, where I list up the frequently found deviations during FDA inspections and how you should respond, just to give you some ideas about handling FDA inspections. That's important also here. Here I have a reference aside here, which looks maybe this looks quite strange. This is not the shop to sell you something. It shows a collection of reference material which is listed on a dedicated seminar website. You have here at the bottom of the slide a link, and if you double click on here, a new site will pop up where you will be asked to enter a user ID, which is audio, so you don't have to make a note, it comes automatically from the previous slide here, and the password similarly is AM4921. If you enter this, and there will be a website where you see, not only this 4 or 5 SOPs, I think there is a total of 10 SOPs. It's a total of, there's also a gap list for GLP, good laboratory practice, and also a list on how to handle laboratory audits. Also interesting here, you can go here, this is a primer of 120 pages, which gives an introduction of GLP